Hi everybody. So I'm just going to do a quick live video to follow up on some of the goals that people were posting that they had for their grooming. There were a handful of people that said their main goal is to start their own grooming business. So I'm gonna touch base with a couple of things here on Instagram, and I'm also gonna do a few full-length videos on my YouTube channel just to kind of give you a deeper insight and give you resources to meet the things that I'm kind of giving you tips for here today. So I'm gonna set my little tripod thing up first, and then I'm gonna go over just a couple of things that I know that I learned the hard way when I opened my shop. I learned the hard way for a few things because, we're good groomers, but we might not be the best business-wise. And I did not go to college or anything, and I definitely didn't pay attention in economics classes in high school. So the main thing is your credit. And if you're younger and you don't have credit, or older and you don't have credit, no credit is actually worse than bad credit most of the time, because with bad credit you can do little simple things to help boost it up. So the main thing that helps with your credit is you meet with, get a business mentor, the SBDC. If you Google it, it's through the SBA, and SBDC will set you up with a local mentor, and they will help you with your credit. They'll basically have you pull your credit reports, and they'll go through line by line and tell you what you need to work on. My number one recommendation if you are going to open a shop is get your credit at a 700 or higher before you open. And I'm not saying you have to do that. I didn't. But I struggled so much because of it for the first 3 years, because I ended up having to go through little financing things that cost me more money in the long run, and it was kind of like a vicious cycle. So if you prep yourself, if your goal is to open your own shop, do it, but get your credit established first. So if you have under a 700, my number one recommendation is to go to the SBDC. It's free. They don't charge you for business mentorship. Your community wants your business to be open because it makes them more money, and it gives people more jobs. So go to the SBDC and I can give you tips and tricks on how I got my credit up. When I first opened my business, I think I had like a 614, and that was awful. And it's a constant struggle. But also, if you are going to open your own business, what I strongly recommend before you even open your doors is fill out a form for an LLC. Like for Florida, it's sunbiz.org. So get your LLC, get your EIN, the employer identification number. Even if you don't file taxes this year, if you get that, what you then can do is get a business banking account. And so you can start putting money in your business banking account, and it doesn't even have to be a lot, but just establishing a communication and establishing a relationship with a business bank is huge. I recommend going through a credit union or a smaller local bank because they're a little more hands-on. They can help you a little bit more when you need something for your business. And I would highly recommend that you do these things before you open your doors, before you go to a brick and mortar shop. Get your credit right, or at least on the right path. Have a goal, okay? And then number two, establish a relationship with a bank for your business. That means you have to have an LLC or an S Corp or however you want to do it. Talk to your CPA. If you don't have a CPA, you can at least find one to give you some advice on what you need to open with. Okay, so before you open your doors, before you look at your brick and mortar, these are the things you need to do. Start getting your credit on the right path, because when you have bad credit, that's when you need things the most, right? So, oh crap, my tub is leaking, or I need a new tub, or my table broke and I need a new table. Well, that's a couple $1,000s. And if you don't have good credit and you need something, then you don't get it. And then you have to finance it, and you end up paying 3 times the amount. So number one, start working on your credit. If you don't know where to start, reach out to a free SBDC mentor. And they will help you tremendously, even setting up a business plan. I'm awful with business plans. It's tedious, but you also need to know what your overhead's going to be. Start looking at what rent is in your area. If you're going to open a brick and mortar shop, if you're going to do mobile, start looking at your overhead. But getting your credit started and getting on the right path for your credit is number one, because you're going to need it. Opening a business, you want to have an established relationship with a bank. And that way, when you go to open your doors, you say, okay, now I'm going to apply for a line of credit through my bank so that I can open my doors, because you have to pay for plumbing, which is expensive. You have to pay for, the lumber and the separation and the tubs and the tables. And if I could help you in anything, I know that a lot of these grooming companies, they offer financing, right? So like Groomer's Choice offers financing. I did that when I opened. Do you know how much I ended up paying for $3,000 worth of equipment? $9,000. That's how much I ended up paying. So once I paid that off, it was a big relief off of my shoulders. But if I had a relationship with my bank before I did that, I could have asked them for $3,000 and paid them $3,000 or $3,500. You have to think of this as you're not borrowing money, you're buying it. So if you start now, so if your goal is to own your own shop, I support you 100%. I'm here if you have questions. I made those mistakes. I made the mistake of getting working capital, and that's a vicious cycle. It's really hard to get out of. But how I fixed it was getting my credit up and establishing a relationship with my bank, and I wish I had somebody that told me that in the beginning. So I am going to, I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel, so be sure to like and follow and subscribe, and I will post more about this. Please drop your comments to let me know your questions. If you want to open your own shop, what are your questions for me? Because I did this and I did it all backwards. So I learned the things that you should know in the very beginning, and if I can help other people set themselves up for success in the grooming business, that's what I want to do. So meet with a mentor. Even if you aren't even anywhere close, you have to start somewhere. Meet with a mentor. SBDC, I think it's sbdc.org, but I'm not sure. You might have to Google it because it's different for every state. SBDC have free business mentors through the SBA. They help you with a business plan, they help you with your cost of overhead, they help you with your credit, and they help get you established with a local bank. So do all of those things before you open your doors, so that you have a business mindset before going into it. And then you can say, okay, this is how many dogs a day I need to groom to meet my overhead, and this is how many I want to groom in order to make a little bit of a profit. So those are my little tips and tricks for opening a business. Start now, don't wait. Don't wait to do these things. Don't just start looking for a place, because you're going to need about $8,000 to $9,000 in all the equipment, plumbing, everything that you need to put into a brick and mortar shop is $8,000 to $9,000. And a mobile unit, depending on whether you get a trailer or a van, can be anywhere from $14,000 and up. So you want to start on working on your credit now. And I will post more in my YouTube videos on how to get your credit up fast, because I had to do it. Like I said, I learned this all backwards. So I did all of these things after I started my business, and I did everything the wrong way. I robbed Peter to pay Paul. And as a family, that's what we are working on in ourselves, is to get out of that vicious cycle, because we didn't grow up with financially conscious parents or family. We come from struggling families, and to break that cycle, you have to know what to do first to set yourself up for success. And I hope that this helps. I'm here if you have questions. Drop comments if you want to know anything in particular, and definitely I'll post my link to my YouTube so that you can like and subscribe for any tips and tricks. And if you have questions, I'm here. But I just wanted to touch base on that, because some people have goals to open their own shop before the end of the year, and if anything helps, it's getting your credit right, and it's getting a relationship with a bank, and getting a mentor from the SBDC, which is local to wherever you are. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments. Happy to answer. And I hope to see you soon.